Hi, this is Daun Whitaker.
Hi, this is Dawn Whitaker, and welcome to another episode of Dreams Unveiled Q&A. Say something, Bill.
Look, we both have green backgrounds,
We
sort of.
do, but not the same green. Just like last time, Bill is going to read the questions. I'm hopefully going to answer. I will tell you, I do dream interpretations, but I'm not always the expert on a lot of things. So please feel please feel free to share any thoughts, or if you have different information than I do, you can either email it to me to dreams@dawnw.com. That's dreams@daunw.com. And that would be very helpful to me because I'm learning in the same process. So ready, Bill?
Yeah.
What you got for me? What's the first question?
All right. It says this is a dream that happens frequently, maybe once a month or so, as I'm falling asleep. I believe a lot of people experience this. I am just beginning to dream and I begin to fall from either a bike or some other circumstance and am instantly awake. I usually lay there a few minutes with my heart rate a little higher and then fall back asleep with no further instances.
What we're actually talking about right now is a hypnagogia state, which is basically this the transition state between being awake and being asleep. And so what is being described in this is a hypnic jerk. And that hypnic jerk can be accompanied by kind of like this dream state, but it's really called a hypnagogic hallucination when you actually can see some like falling off a bike or whatever the situation is. But basically, it's just involuntary contractions of the muscles when we go from being awake and having our brain operating in a wake state to going to sleep and switching some things off, powering some things down, turning some things up, this is pretty typical behavior to have a hypnic jerk. And we've all experienced them. And I probably shouldn't say all, but most people have experienced them. Have you ever experienced something like that, Bill?
I know hypnic jerks.
Oh, God. How long were you sitting there waiting for the opening to be able to say that, Bill?
Not very long.
So back to my question. Have you ever had a hypnic jerk?
I'm sure.
Well, and I'll tell you, I know for sure you have. You're my husband, and there are times where, you're going to sleep and you do this little spasmy thing. So I'm going to say you do. It's a spasmy thing.
All right. We have you want another question?
I think I'm ready for another question.
Every so often, maybe a couple times a year, I have a dream that is so terrifying, either when I fall asleep or an hour or two into my sleep, that I scream for Tim to come help me. I keep screaming and shouting Tim's name until I wake myself up with the name I'm trying to say and get help from. As soon as I know I'm awake, I am still calling for help.
Okay. So my best uh, belief about this is that she's having night terrors. Now, I know we associate night terrors with young children, but adults can have night terrors. It's obviously much more rare. And night terrors manifest in screaming, shouting, kicking. You could thrash, moving a lot, sitting up in bed suddenly. I remember when my son would have night terrors and he would just sit up in bed like he's possessed. It was pretty freaky. And it's pretty terrifying to children, but it's also pretty terrifying to grown-ups when they have an occasional night terror. She indicates that she's still calling for this individual even when she is awake. And although that's pretty rare, it can be explained by false awakening. So I think that's not a very common thing, but adults do have night terrors.
Ready for the next one?
Sure.
How many people have prophetic dreams? I have had at least 3 in my life.
Okay. So this is really thing to an interesting question to deal with because a lot of times the scientific community looks at prophetic dreams and precognitive dreams much the same, that they're both foretelling the future. Although I think a prophetic dream has a much broader implication than a precognitive dream. So in general, precognitive dreams, the different studies, and this is to me a great area of study, but it's very subjective at this point to study. The research shows 17.8% to 38%, or as high as 50%. I mean, it's all over the place. Um, of people have prophetic dreams or precognitive dreams. I want to give a definition that changes this. A prophetic dream is a dream that foretells future events, provides warnings, or conveys divine guidance. Obviously, if somebody has a prophetic dream, this is a dream that God has given them. I will tell you when Bill and I first started our ministry, I would get warning dreams sometimes. And there were a couple of people that had decided that to really cause a lot of trouble and drama for my ministry victory. And it became really difficult. And so my idea was, well, how about if I find a healthy way to draw them into the ministry? I could have one, do a Bible study. I had all these plans to try and help these people to really feel valued and useful and participate in the ministry. And here's the dream that I had. I had a dream that I was in, and I was being kind of cocky in the dream or just confident. And I'm cutting a deal with a demon in the dream. And I think I have everything all under control, and I'm pretty happy with the terms and how everything turned out. And the demon just gave me this really knowing look, and I turned around and Satan was behind me, and the dream ended. And I understood that that dream, by the way, was quite frightening, but the dream really was telling me not to uh, coddle these people or placate them by giving them roles in the ministry when they are clearly demonstrating destructive behavior. So as a result of that, I changed my strategy. So it's hard to say. I think, I would be interested in knowing who has had a prophetic dream, who has had a dream that was a divine dream where you knew God was telling you something. And like I said, it doesn't have to foretell anything. It really about something that God is telling you and that's in your heart. It could be any number of things, but if you really feel you're hearing from God in your dreams, I'd love to know about it. Wonderful.
What is a false awakening?
Ah, yeah, so that's come up a few times. A false awakening, and this is a kind of a fun thing. Most of us have had this. I'll give you the most common false awakening. You really have to pee, and you think that you've gotten up and you woke up and you go to the bathroom, but in fact you're still in your dream. Has that ever happened to you, Bill?
all the time.
All the time, for real, all the time? Or are you making that up?
No, for real. Yep.
So wait, you dream that you've gone to the bathroom and you haven't?
Yeah, I dream that I go into like this big bathroom with a bunch of toilets, but none of them are usable. And you go in there and you're trying to find one where you can go to the bathroom, and you just can't get to anyone that works right.
But here's the thing. Do you dream that you woke up and you believe you're awake in the dream?
I don't know. Nah, probably not.
Okay. So that's not a false awakening. That's just a pretty creepy dream. And now we have to look at that. And this dream happens a lot?
Yeah, where I got to go to the bathroom, and I'm sure I got to go to the bathroom, but I just uh, instead I go wandering around in my head trying to find a toilet that works, and none of them work.
Yeah, this sounds like an anxiety dream. So,
Well, it sounds like a dream where I got to go to the bathroom. I can't find a toilet.
so a false
That's good because if I did find a toilet, I'd be peeing in the bed probably.
probably, probably save those for the truck, Bill. False awakening is one of those dreams where you feel like you've woke up and you're doing things. You may be getting ready for work. I remember as a kid having false awakenings, and I'm thinking that I'm getting ready for school and everything, and then and I'm awake, and then when I actually wake up, I realize it's like 4 in the morning, and that I dreamt that. So there's all kinds of things that could happen. Running to the bathroom is a big one. These dreams typically happen in REM. These are REM sleep only dreams for the most part. Whereas other as your typical standard or normal dreams can happen in or out of REM sleep, but the ones you remember are REM sleep. There's not a whole lot of research on false awakenings. I mean, there's nothing about them that are dangerous or anything like that, but here are some of the most common false awakening dreams. And sometimes they're called dreams within dreams. Waking up and getting ready for the day, waking up in the middle of the night and going to the bathroom or kitchen, then returning to bed, exploring or wandering around the dream environment, thinking about a dream you just had before the false awakening in the belief that you are now awake. I've actually had, I would say, all of those at least once. I don't have this very often, but I definitely have had, I would say, some variation of all of those circumstances. Bill, you don't remember ever having anything like that?
No, one of my most uh, common dreams is where I start flying. The bathroom dreams too, but where I fly and I can fly over things and I can land and then I get away from people and then I can also teach people how to fly.
So, are you flying when you have to pee in a dream?
No, no, when I have to pee in the dream, it's usually walking into a bathroom or trying to find a bathroom and you can't find it anywhere in the building or whatever. And then when you do finally get into the bathroom, you get in there and there's only like a drain hole in the floor or there's no toilet at all. So you can't really go to the bathroom because there's no place to go. And yeah, that's those are my bathroom dreams. Or go into these giant almost like locker room type bathrooms and there's like uh two toilets together in one spot and there's no place to get privacy to go to the bathroom. It's yeah, those are little bathroom dreams.
Yeah, those really are anxiety dreams. They may be because you have to go to the bathroom, but I will tell you,
Sure, it is because I usually end up having to go to the bathroom shortly after I have those dreams.
In this conversation, my dear, I've learned an awful lot about you now.
Oh, great.
So your preoccupation with bathrooms and stuff is definitely uh, invades your sleep state.
Peeing invades my sleep state.
I have no doubt. Do you have any questions, Bill? Can you think of anything?
I can't. No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, I think that is it for the questions for this Q&A session. Please send any questions that you have in the comments of the videos, or you can email them to me. We'll be happy to answer questions. I think dreams are fascinating, and I love learning about this stuff. And believe me, I'm learning too. So I hope everybody has a great day. I hope everyone had a wonderful Easter and sweet dreams. Thank you, Bill, for joining me.